right now on 5 on Your Side at 10.
Thanks a million.
Growing up in St. Louis in a single-parent household, understanding how valuable this would have been.
The supersized gift for a St. Louis superstar, how Jason Tatum's hometown will benefit.
Warm Wednesday. No records, but Valentine's Day is a sweet taste of spring in St. Louis. We're tracking changes for later in the week.
Our top story, a gun battle between police and a man wanted for murder.
I just heard gunshots, which is normal.
Tonight, reaction from a South City neighborhood caught in the crossfire. Tonight, that man is in the hospital after investigators say he opened fire on St. Louis County police officers in South City. Good evening. I'm Mike Bush.
I'm Kelly Jackson. It happened near Virginia and Alaska Avenues in Dutchtown. Robert Townsend was at the scene all day and joins us from St. Louis Police Headquarters. What's the latest, Robert?
Hey, Kelly, let me tell you this. Tonight, police have not told us any new information about that man they say repeatedly fired at county police officers. I can tell you this. He rattled that neighborhood and sent a lot of folks running for cover. Sterling Jones was working inside his South St. Louis convenience store and snack shop when loud gunfire suddenly stopped him.
So it may have been about more than 40, 50 shots.
That many?
That many.
Another startled Dutchtown neighbor asked us to not show her face.
I just heard gunshots, which is normal. But then when I heard it in rapid succession, I just kind of looked out the window, and that's when I saw the cops over there.
A St. Louis County Police Department spokesperson says around 11:30 Tuesday morning, officers with the department's Bureau of Intelligence and Special Response Unit were in the area looking for a recent homicide suspect. Investigators say about 2 hours later, a man came outside in the 4500 block of Virginia Avenue.
They approached a suspect who produced a handgun with a drum magazine. At that point, gunfire was exchanged.
Investigators say the suspect ran between houses, dashed about a block over on Alaska Avenue, and more gunshots rang out.
The suspect was struck, taken into custody, and taken to an area hospital for treatment.
No officers were hurt. Bullets shattered windows on several neighbors' parked cars. Neighbors say the suspect's girlfriend lives in the neighborhood. Police questioned her at the scene. This neighbor has had enough of the gun violence.
Ready to move. Just get out of this neighborhood so I can feel more safe and comfortable.
A police major told me the suspect was shot more than once. We also saw bullet-riddled cars being towed away from that scene. Live downtown, Robert Townsend, 5 on Your Side.
Breaking tonight, St. Louis firefighters responded to a fire at a downtown parking garage. This happened about 2 hours ago near 7th and Olive. Firefighters say the fire started on the first floor in an abandoned Express Mart.
Apparently someone was inside, and it looks like they had a warming fire in their belongings. Maybe the warming fire just got out of control and got to their belongings. So that's what started the fire. That's where it originated from.
There were no reports of injuries. They're still investigating what caused it.
We're also following breaking news in North St. Louis. A woman is dead after she was hit by 2 cars. This happened about 3 hours ago at the intersection of Page and Clarendon. That's in the Academy Sherman Park neighborhood. The crash remains under investigation.
Tonight, 4 middle schoolers and a woman are recovering after a school bus crash in Lincoln County. It happened this morning at Troy South Middle School in Moscow Mills. The Missouri State Highway Patrol says the bus driver was dropping the students off in the bus lane when she hit a light pole. Troopers say she was looking in the rearview mirror. At the time, we are told all the injuries were minor.
Tonight, we are learning more about what led the city of New Haven to dissolve its police department. 5 on Your Side's Laura Barczewski spoke with the mayor and was able to get some answers for the city's residents. Laura?
Mike, this all came to a head when the newly appointed chief resigned. But the mayor of New Haven tells me the problems aren't new.
We had days of no coverage.
City of New Haven Mayor Jason Addison says the New Haven Police Department has had staffing issues for months.
We should have 7 to complete the 12-hour shifts on a 7-day schedule. Our 3 reserve officers, it's really hard to get them to work. One of the gentlemen is a full-time medic, so that requires a lot of time. They're shorthanded.
Addison says they've had a really tough time hiring officers, let alone a chief for their department, because they don't have enough money to be competitive with pay, roughly only offering $21 an hour.
Our police department takes almost 3/4 of our budget. just the police department out of general fund.
They were finally able to hire a new police chief in January, John Hallquist, but he resigned 23 days after being sworn in, citing issues he learned about after taking the job and possible mishandling of evidence. A 6-month emergency contract for $59,609 a month was signed with the Franklin County Sheriff's Office.
A deputy has been pulled in addition to the county man hours and assigned to the city limits. Since then, I have been here, since 7 o'clock in the morning till 10. Patrol deputy signs on at 10, takes it till 10, and then a patrol deputy in the zone is close.
Sheriff's deputies are currently investigating the former chief's claims and auditing evidence. Some evidence issues have been cleared up and found to be handled properly. Until the sheriff's office gives Mayor Addison the green light, they're holding off on making any decisions about the future of the police department.
We may have to see about co-oping with somebody, but there's a lot of departments you cannot, I don't know the term, double deputize. That you cannot have one officer work for this department and still work for this department.
The mayor of New Haven says a permanent contract with the Franklin County Sheriff's Office is likely too expensive, but it's working for now and wants to reassure residents they're safe.
Developing news tonight out of the U.S. Capitol, where just hours ago, the House of Representatives narrowly passed a resolution to impeach Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. It's the first time in nearly 150 years the House has voted to impeach a sitting cabinet member. The vote was 214 to 213, with 3 Republicans joining Democrats voting no. All of our local representatives voted along party lines. It was the GOP's second attempt to impeach Mayorkas over his handling of the U.S. southern border. The effort is expected to die in the Democrat-controlled Senate. And tonight, the Republican slim majority in the House just got smaller. New York Democrat Tom Suozzi has just won a special election for the seat held by George Santos. The Republican was expelled from Congress after he was indicted on charges of fraud and stealing from donors.
And tonight it appears the House will hold up a $95 billion national security package passed by the Senate overnight. The bill includes critical funding for U.S. allies, Israel, Ukraine, and Taiwan. House Speaker Mike Johnson is reaffirming he will not consider the legislation without new border policy. Democrats are pushing for a procedural tool that would force a floor vote, but it needs the support of at least 4 Republicans, which is unlikely.
I don't want to sign a discharge petition. It's a Democrat-led discharge petition. That'd be like voting against the rule, which I just think is, I know some in our party do that now, but that's just not how I think we should comport ourselves.
President Biden is pressuring the House to take up the measure.
Being able to achieve generational wealth for myself and then change the community and change the place that I came from with that.
Tonight, we are taking a closer look at a hometown hero's plans to help single parents become homeowners.
NBA star Jason Tatum's foundation received a $1 million donation to make that goal a reality. And 5 on Your Side's Brent Solomon joins us now to break down the impact of a plan like this. Brent.
Well, if no one in your family has ever owned a home, if you have never made enough money to even have a savings account, if you have to choose which bills to pay each month, these are realities people in our community face every single day.
I have a 3-bedroom, 2 bathrooms.
Jessica Robinson lives in Pine Lawn with her daughters. She rents her fairly new home that boasts a basement and a big backyard.
Have you ever had that much space before?
No.
Her experience is helping her see what could be. She wants to one day become a homeowner.
It's just, something to call my own.
That's what NBA star Jason Tatum, who's from St. Louis, wants to see become a reality for single parents.
I've always been driven to get my money right. As a kid, I watched my mom struggle financially, but she always made what we had work. Her sacrifice allowed me to pursue my dreams.
Now he's announcing plans to create what he calls the Generational Wealth Fund. Online personal finance company SoFi is gifting Tatum's foundation $1 million. Tatum using the funds to help St. Louisans become homeowners.
Give folks the opportunity, right? Just that extra little bit to get them over the hump so they can have that down payment, so they can get a loan and they can have their own home.
It's work Chris Krameyer is involved with every day through his organization Beyond Housing. He's praising Tatum's plan to help transform the housing landscape.
And the fact that he recognizes that having resources to give folks a hand up, particularly when we talk about generational wealth building, it's absolutely fantastic, right? Much needed resources. How do we invest in people and place in a different way than we've done for decades? Because whatever we've been doing, quite frankly, hasn't worked.
SoFi says some 60% of Americans feel they will never become financially secure. This effort is designed to break those barriers. To learn more, you can contact Tatum's Foundation through a link right now at KSDK.com.
They were out of a job without notice just days before Christmas, and weeks later, they're still waiting to get paid.
You dedicate yourself to your work, and it's the thanks you get.
Tonight, the I-Team's findings after digging through the financial records of St. Louis's largest nursing home. From sweets for your sweet to flowers for your love.
Organized chaos. We've gotten very good at this.
The busy night for local florists and chocolatiers, and their message for Valentine's Day procrastinators.
Not one day this month has it been cooler than average. When that changes and what the transition brings as we head into the President's Day weekend.
Tonight, a closer look into the sudden closure of the largest nursing home facility in St. Louis. Northview Village left residents without a home and workers without a job just days before Christmas.
Tonight, the I-Team is delving into the financial practices of the facility. Senior investigative reporter Paula Vassan found a lack of transparency in the industry may have contributed to this crisis.
It was devastation.
It was horrible.
And sometimes I just bust out crying.
Just days before Christmas.
We don't eat, you don't eat.
Hundreds of nursing home residents and workers were suddenly forced out of St. Louis's largest nursing home. They left with nothing but the clothes on their backs.
Look at this mess. This don't make no sense.
Tyron Gant has yet to be paid for his vacation time.
I didn't even know all this stuff was over here.
About $800.
I feel disgusted. I feel terrible.
He worked here doing laundry.
I was getting paid $13 an hour for 11 years.
Until one Friday, he stopped getting a paycheck.
I'm talking about the leadership from the top dropped the ball tremendously. The owner is at fault, but the people he had in charge were totally negligent.
Government records show two families owned the majority of the nursing home. Our emails, calls, and text messages to the owners and their attorneys went unanswered. We kept asking the question on everyone's mind.
Where is the money going?
It's not coming to us, the people that work.
Government records show the owners of Northview Village funneled millions of taxpayer dollars intended for workers and residents into other companies they own. Public documents show money went to things like lease payments, home office expenses, and therapy services. Exactly how the money was used is a mystery. Critics say it's common. Nursing home owners using taxpayer money to pay themselves with virtually no accountability.
You dedicate yourself to your work, and it's the thanks you get.
There needs to be greater transparency.
Sam Brooks works at the National Consumer Voice, a nonprofit advocating for better care at nursing homes. He says the lack of financial transparency in the industry allows for potential misuse of funds. The consequences, he says, can be dire.
This nursing home failed because it didn't have enough money to pay staff. And when you can't pay staff, you can't run a nursing home.
Tyron Gant and other former employees are now part of this lawsuit. It says the owners of Northview Village broke federal law when they shut down without notice. The owners have not responded to the lawsuit.
Because if it happens to Northview, it can happen to any nursing home facility.
The I-Team found the owners of Northview Village own a handful of other nursing homes in the St. Louis area. One of them in Illinois is also closing. In response to our investigation, a government spokesperson has acknowledged the lack of transparency in the nursing home industry, but there have been no recent moves to increase financial scrutiny. For the I-Team, Paula Vassan, 5 on your side.
And if you'd like to get in touch with our I-Team, leave a voice message at 314-444-5231. You can also email Paula. The address is tips@ksdk.com, and all calls and correspondence will be kept confidential. There's another important recall tonight involving charcuterie meat because of possible food pathogens that can make you sick. This involves Fratelli Beretta ready-to-eat packages. The USDA says the capicola was potentially underprocessed. These same products were recalled last month due to a salmonella outbreak. The packages are sold under different brands at Aldi's, Costco, and Sam's Club.
Tomorrow is Valentine's Day, and that means a late night for area florists. We stopped by Walter Knoll Florist earlier tonight, where it's all hands on deck. More than 100 floral designers have been putting in long hours the last few days. Shout out to them. And they'll have as many drivers out making deliveries as early as 6 a.m. tomorrow.
Deliveries have to be made in a timely manner, unlike other holidays where you actually have a couple days to do it. And actually, if you don't have the delivery made by somewhere around noon, the sender is panicking because they haven't gotten the thank you call.
Walter Knoll has extended hours tomorrow. They say they have plenty of flowers for last-minute shoppers. It's also been a busy day for workers at Crown Candy. They've been dipping, wrapping, and packing chocolate-covered strawberries. They plan to dip about 1,200 pints of strawberries by tomorrow. And there's also plenty of other chocolate creations available to buy.
Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell joined us now with the weather first forecast, and it's going to be a Valentine's Day that you will love weather-wise, right, Scott?
I think so, especially if you like mild weather and you're enjoying this trend where temperatures are running much above average, because tomorrow's another one of those days. It started out frosty this morning. That's frost that you can see in the foreground there as the sun's rising off in the distance. Bill Dean shared that with us from St. Francis County early this morning. That's how the day started. This is how the day ended as we look from Forest Park back towards Clayton and Brentwood. The sun going down after temperatures topped out above 60 degrees today, and just a few scattered clouds in and across the region. Can you believe we're 1 week away from soccer? Yes, they'll take the pitch. City SC next Tuesday night. It could actually be reasonably comfortable for St. Louis in February, much like what we're going to see again tomorrow. Right now, still 49 degrees in St. Louis. The colder air is to our north. There's also some extra cloud cover up to our north that's moving towards the east-southeast. So this should stay mainly north of us as we head through the overnight hours. Tomorrow will be quiet, will be mild. We will have some more active weather trying to push our way towards the end of the week, along with some cooler weather as we at least have 1 or 2 days where we're at or a little below average temperature-wise in St. Louis, something we haven't seen yet this month. 49 right now, the dew point's 28, so the air's still relatively dry, 44% your relative humidity. Southwest breeze at 10, keeping our temperatures up. 61 was the high today, 29 was the low this morning. We should be warmer tomorrow morning out the door. Most of us start out in the 30s, closer to 40 in town, and then we'll see those temperatures jumping tomorrow. So as Cupid pops out with that flower delivery or maybe the box of chocolates, don't really have to worry about them melting tomorrow. We're in the lower 60s. We'll drop into the 50s. So if you're taking your sweetheart out to dinner tomorrow evening, it should still be relatively comfortable for that. Now, overnight, Wednesday night into Thursday, there is a front approaching. It tries to kick off a few spot showers here very early on Thursday morning, just before the morning rush hour, and then they're scooting out. This should be very minimal as far as rainfall goes. And then as we head through the day on Thursday, we're still in the 50s. It's partly cloudy. Here's the thing with Friday. We go into Friday, and I know that zipped along pretty quickly, but we do have a chance of rain or snow. And even though we're painting quite a bit of snow on here, keep in mind our temperatures will be above freezing, and we do expect to see much of that snow melting, plus ground temperatures are warm. So it's colder by Friday and Saturday, that we know. Light rain and or some snow Friday could be a mix, and limited impacts are expected. We'll wrap it all up here for you in the next 10 days. Friday and Saturday are the 2 coldest days we have. Again, we don't think we're going to have big impacts other than wet roads as we head into Friday, although there may be a few spots, if we could get a little band of snow that's a little heavier, that could create some slushy spots. But it's going to be above freezing, and it's happening during the day.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's really just hard. It's been hard for us to get accumulating snow this year.
Yeah, and tomorrow will be 60.
Yeah, tomorrow's going to be above 60.
On the day of love, as I keep saying. All right.
Scott, thanks.
All right, Frank's next with sports.
Feels like I'm working with Barry White. The Fighting Illini were dominating, the Blues were not, and we are our own version in St. Louis of Caitlin Clark. You got to see this girl.
This 5 on Your Side Sports Report is sponsored by Telly Tire and Auto Centers, driving your way since 1942.
They were playing their best hockey of the year. Keyword were. Tonight in Toronto, the Note managed a season-low 15 shots, and that road winning streak, like Kelly Jackson's singing career, is a thing of the past. 5.5 minutes in, Bobby McMahon will walk in and just kind of push it past Jordan Binnington. That is far too easy. And this wasn't fun to watch. William Nylander looking to pass the puck. It goes off a skate and in. It's 2-0 Toronto. Now, the Blues did show a pulse in the second. Nathan Walker shoots, and Alexei Toropchenko gets a deflection, and we have a 2-1 game. Fun moment at the end. McMahon banks it off the wall for the hat trick. He came in with 2 career goals. He leaves with 5. Leafs win 4-1. They are bigger than most, they are older than most, and they are better than most. Illinois could be a Final Four team. Hosting Michigan tonight, and the Wolverines have a St. Louis product. Terrace Reed, he gets the dunk there. He had 13 points tonight, but no more celebrating. Terrence Shannon Jr. was out of sight. 31 points on 11 of 15 shooting from the field. Coleman Hawkins had 17, and Illinois blows Michigan out of the building, 97-68, 8th straight win over the Wolverines. Hey, I want you to take a look at Grace Beyer, who plays for the University of Health Sciences and Pharmacy in St. Louis, hosting Missouri Baptist. She's unbelievable. She came in averaging 34 points a game. She has over 3,700 points in her career. She could break the all-time record. Tonight she had 32, and Missouri Baptist won the game, the final, 77-74. Dan Rolfus and Incarnate Word trying for their 123rd consecutive win, hosting Nerix. They play the power game inside. That's Peyton Hill on the block. Later, it will be Caitlin Jones with a steal and layup. Incarnate ties the state win streak record with an 84-20 victory.
Taking flight. Card Spring Training, sponsored by Wood Basement Systems.
Pitchers and catchers officially reported to spring training today in Jupiter. Sonny Gray leads a group of 10 pitchers acquired in the offseason, and a Cardinal executive tells me he had a vocal mound session with his new battery mate, Wilson Contreras. Speaking of outstanding feats in baseball, how about this? The Oakland A's are looking for some kind of positive news. Today, they said that Jenny Cavnar will be their primary broadcaster, the first female lead announcer in Major League history. Cavnar was a backup for the Colorado Rockies and has worked in baseball for 17 years. Coming up Sunday on Sports Plus, we continue to highlight the achievements of African Americans in sports during Black History Month. And this story will make you want to watch. Wendell Scott was the first African American on the NASCAR circuit. He was successful on the track. He did engine work on his own car, and he dealt with a lot of racism, like being poisoned or being denied a trophy for winning. And then there's this.
He was asked if he was afraid during his NASCAR career. And his response was he didn't have much fear of anything, with the exception of a sniper's bullet. And that's what he feared the most, was being assassinated from long range as he was in and around the track.
His is an absolutely incredible story of perseverance, and there's a St. Louis connection. Dave Stewart, Worldwide Technology Raceway, and his son Dave Jr. are heavily involved with the foundation to try to get more African Americans in NASCAR. So St. Louis is heavily involved in this story.
I look forward to that story.
Yes, sir.
All right, thanks, Frank.
All right, St. Louisans love their fish fries and beer. How you can enjoy 2 local favorites during Lent. Tomorrow is Ash Wednesday, marking the beginning of the 40-day Lenten season. Christians receive the sign of the cross and ashes on their forehead to signify repentance and renewal. Several churches are offering ashes on the go for those who are a little too busy to attend services or Mass. And we have a full list of locations and times in the As Seen on TV section of KSDK.com.
And that means fish fry season is also back, and people have been asking. Yes, it also marks the return of the Rockwell Beer Company's Fish Fry Light Lager. So this is described as being dry and delicately floral without being fussy. Rockwell says, quote, "There's nothing more St. Louis than a good fish fry washed down with a great tasting light lager beer during Lent. 4 packs cost $10. Several local churches and groups serve fish on Fridays during Lent. For a link to our interactive fish fry finder, just text the word fish to 314-425-5355. And there you have it, 5 on your side at 10. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon is next.
And we hope you'll start your day with Today in St. Louis. That starts at 4 a.m. Have a great tomorrow.